Hey there, this is Greg with Perspective. Just wanted to give you a quick tutorial on how to get up and running with the ControlRoom Hub and Ableton Live. We're running on Windows 10 right now, but the process is exactly the same on OS X. So by now you should have downloaded and installed ControlRoom from the Perspective website. You've created an account and you've purchased a license. So after you've run the installer, the next thing you want to do is, before opening up your DAW, is you want to open up ControlRoom Hub. And this will load here. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to log into our account. So you do that by entering the same email and password that you've created on perspective.com. So I'll enter mine, Greg at Perspective. And my password, and I select login. Great. So now I'm logged in. And as you see here on the left, a few more icons have become available to you. So the first icon you see at the top is the P, and that will take you to the Perspective website should you need anything from us. The home icon here is a quick little overview of what to do. You can use this to stay tuned for the latest from Perspective. This hand icon here will take you to the tools page, which we'll get back to in just a minute. But this is where we'll assign our tools and name them and save our different tool sets as sessions. Next here is the gear icon, and we're going to spend a bunch of time here in just a moment. The question mark here is our help menu. This will take you to all the relevant links should you need some help. And always, as always, feel free to get in touch should you need help with us directly. And then this again back to your account page if you'd like to log out. But heading back to the gear page here, you'll see our different setup options here. So the first things first is down at the bottom, let's select what DAW we're using on the drop-down menu. Currently we support Pro Tools, Ableton Live, and then we've got a general MIDI only mode, which will allow you to control pretty much any DAW using our plugin in general MIDI. The only things that you're going to basically be missing out are on transport and console and mixer control for the different specific DAWs, but those things will be coming soon in the future. But certainly whatever your DAW you're using, if it supports MIDI and it supports VST3 or AAX or AU plugins, we've got you covered. There's more information on that on our website of specific functionality. But anyways, so now we're using Ableton Live 10, so we'll select Ableton Live. And then we'll go to MIDI up here. And as you see here, we've got the different MIDI options that are available to us. These will be used if you're going to be using any analog gear, or external gear, and you need to have those MIDI ports available. For us, we're just going to use the ControlRoom Hub and the MIDI ports created by the Hub, so we won't have to select any of those. But should you want to use those in the future, they're there for your use. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select ControlRoom in 3 for my general MIDI in, and ControlRoom MIDI out 3 for my general MIDI out. The only reason I'm doing this is because usually I reserve ControlRoom in and out 1 and 2 for use for the Huey protocol when I'm in Pro Tools. But feel free to use whatever you'd like. Just make sure that these settings are reflected on your DAW side. So moving forward here, the next thing, once I have that set, my DAW set, my MIDI inputs and outputs are set, I'll go to the network option. This is where we create the communication between the VR headset and the hub. If you're using the Oculus Quest, you'll enter your IP address here, and that's you'll be able to find that within ControlRoom on the same settings page. It has the gear option, and it'll show you your headset's IP address. We just have to make sure that these are entered properly on both sides. If you're going to be using an Oculus Rift or Rift S with the computer, this on the same computer, which I could do here, you just want to make sure that these IP addresses are identical. So the headset and the hub are one and the same, because we'll be using a Rift connected to this computer. So just make sure that's set. Then on the next page, this will show you your active or non-active connection with your DAW, and it'll provide a little bit of metering feedback here to show you that things are in fact working correctly. The next button here is the plugin metering. No options to configure here. This is just to show you that everything is working correctly. And then the last option here is the advanced performance page. You shouldn't need to adjust anything here, but if you're experiencing any performance issues, you feel free to adjust these settings. But now that we've got everything set properly, the next thing I want to do is open up my DAW. So let's go find Live. We'll open it here. Just takes a moment to load. So now that Live is open, we'll just enter into the preferences page. So hit Control, comma, Command, comma, on a Mac, or of course you can access it from the menu. And we've got the different options here. So the first thing that we want to do is go to the link and MIDI page, where we're going to set up our control surface script. So this is basically a little option that you'll set if you're using any piece of external hardware with Live. And with the ControlRoom installer, we've installed this automatically for you in the appropriate directory if you've got Ableton installed. And you'll see it here, ControlRoom. So just select that, and then that'll load up, and then you don't have to worry about the input or the output. Just leave those blank. And then the next thing you want to do is, since we're using the general MIDI in, out 3 and in 3, just make sure we set those up for track and remote on both. And that should get you going. So basically, this control surface is how we control and get all the information that we need from ControlRoom. And then the general MIDI in and out here. Whoops, I've got this set wrong. Just make sure those are correct, because if they are not set properly, you might get some unexpected behavior. But just make sure these guys are set properly, and you should be all good there. And if you go back to the hub, we'll be able to see. Notice that the little light on the DAW has gone green, which indicates a successful connection. Now, the other thing you'll notice here, we've got our different banks here. We've got the amount of tracks that we can use. Now, if you're using an Oculus Quest, we've limited it to 8 tracks because of bandwidth considerations, because we're sending a lot of information over the network, control data, track names, metering, all that kind of thing. So the Quest, you're going to be limited to only 8 tracks on the console tool, and then 16 tracks if you're using a Rift, but you'll have to open up your Rift and connect it to the hub first before that option is available, because we want to ensure that you actually are using a Rift to make sure you have the best experience possible. So moving forward, we can go back to the hand tool here and sort of get to work. So we've got a bunch of different tools here for you. We've got the effects cube, the drum pads, the BFF, and the equalizer. All these tools are available for you to customize. So the way that works is we can select one, say the effects cube, and let's give it a name. We'll call it, I don't know, we can call this one delay. Now, then we can label the X, Y, and Z axes of each of the control sphere, and these things are going to be reflected in VR when we open it, so we know that we're controlling. But for now, we'll give them some names. So let's just open a plugin first. We'll switch back and forth. It's quite easy. So let's just go to, let's find a delay here. Let's see, just the delay. I'll put it on an 8-track. Great. So I would like to adjust, let's see, maybe the filter percentage. Let's give that a shot. How about the, here we go. The rate, the filter, and the time on this delay. So the way we do this, let's go back. We can just label these real quick. So rate, filter, in time. So all these different parameters are now labeled. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Ableton, and I'm going to basically just set up the MIDI map mode. So that's Control M or Command M on a Mac, and I'll just select the parameter that I want to map. So I've selected rate down here, and I just go back to here, back to the hub, and I hit Send CC. And if you notice, on the control list, we've just mapped that control successfully. So it's very easy. We'll just go back to the next one, filter, Send CC. You got the next one, time, Send CC. So now that's all mapped, and I can just exit MIDI map mode, and that is it. So when I go into VR and I open up my available tools, this delay parameter, this delay effects cube, will show up, and will automatically start controlling and automating this delay. It's as easy as that. Same thing goes with the drum pads. Here we can give our drum pads different names. We can change the notes of our different drum pads. We can change the octaves of them. We can reset them. With the BFF, we can name our different parameters, send CCs, etc. And the same thing with the equalizer. If we want to add more or remove any of these different parameters, we can use the add button to add as many of these different parameters as we want, or remove as well. It's very, very simple. And then once we've done some work and we want to save our session, we just we start and we say save session. We call it the Hub tutorial. And I hit save. And then the next time, if I want to return to this group of settings, it's as easy as hitting open, selecting Hub tutorial, and loading it up. And that's as easy as it can be. So once you've set up all your different tools with the mappings that you like, jump into VR and let her rip. Awesome. So if you need any more help, please visit our website, www.perspective.com, or feel free to get in touch. Thanks a lot.